Hello pumpkins. We're gonna be doing a get ready with me with the Colourpop Roaring Hearts collection. We have some liners in here that we're gonna be trying. We have these lashes, but I typically use a bigger lash than this. Can you even see that? They're so small. So I don't think we'll be using that today. We have some Super Shock shadows, a crap ton of lip lacquers, which I don't even know what a lacquer is. Is that like a lipstick or lip gloss? I don't know. And then we have the little eyeshadow palette. I'm so sorry, I don't know what to do about this lighting. Colors are neutral, but I like the packaging, so I got the collection. I'm gonna be recording with my dad today on our other channel. So I hope everyone had a good holiday. You know, with Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's is coming up. It never gets easy when you don't have someone here and they've passed. It's so hard. I'm gonna start priming. This is the Colourpop Potty. The Colourpop Potty. God dang. The Colourpop Party Proof Eye Primer, and this is in caramel. I still don't know how to say that word. I kind of wish that YouTube was like TikTok, so I could just like play music and jam out without having to really talk. YouTube has like all these rules and stuff. I really hope this primer works. It seems like it's almost like the Urban Decay eyeshadow primers, which I didn't really like those that much, but we were supposed to film yesterday and I just told my dad, I was like, I'm not really up for filming today. I didn't really want to tell him that I was sad. Don't you hate like when you have I don't know, Bailey Sarian says it all the time, get better idols, and I'm like, I thought I did. But then, you know, you get older and then stuff comes out about them and you just don't see them the same way. I mean, everyone's not perfect, you know. Everyone has a past, everyone's done stuff that they're not proud of, but it's like, I don't know, sad. So I'm going into the palette now. I think I'm gonna go in with this shade for the transition. This is another Pour. This is their first palette that they've done like this with like 10 shades that are circular and a rectangular packaging. I know brands like evolve and experiment with like different packaging and all that stuff. They grow basically. When I organize my palettes, I order them by size. So I have like all the skinny rectangular ones together, and then the more square ones, the Morphe ones are separate. My Colourpop ones, like they're just all separated by size. So when you go from like a square palette to something like this, it's not stored together. So I tend to forget about the one that's like the odd one out, you know? Do you guys remember when Evanescence first came out? I was in like middle school. What album was it? It was the album Fallen. Oh my gosh. I remember I had to like beg my mom for the album, and I didn't have a CD player, so I had to beg her for a CD player, so she got one from like a trading post. I played this song or their whole CD like non-stop. Like I abused that and Tattoo, which I looked up to Tattoo because they were like the first openly, I thought at the time, were openly gay women, or you didn't see that at first way back in the day. I'm gonna go in with Lost Gen, which is the shade right here. I listened to those 2 CDs because that's all I could get at the time, and I never got tired of those albums. It was a disappointment when Tattoo came out and they were like, we're not really lesbians. Or that did happen, right? Or am I crazy? Pretty sure it happened. But I felt like they did that to kind of give that shock factor, and they didn't need to do that. It kind of broke my heart. I think I'm gonna go in with Avant-Garde. I'm going to apply this with my finger. All this redness on my face, I feel like I tend to scratch my face in my sleep, but also I think that they all started because of the skincare I was using. So I went and got all new skincare, everything like face wash, toner, moisturizer, serums, and all that stuff. I got all new everything because what I was using at the time just wasn't working. I'm super oily, especially like right here, my forehead area. I think that's where I can mostly see it, and then I can kind of see it right here when I'm working throughout the day and I don't like I don't wear makeup to work, but like whenever I use the bathroom, I can see how oily I am, and it like grosses me out. And I'm like, no one tells me that I look like that, which I don't expect them to, but come on, man. And I sweat, or the medication I'm on, actually sweating is a side effect, and that hit me hard. Like, I'm just sitting here now doing nothing, and I feel like little things of sweat right there, and I'm just like and I think we're gonna go in with that Sax, which is that dark shade right there. I've also been listening to a lot of Amy Winehouse lately, and I feel really bad because I didn't appreciate her music when she first started, when she first blew up. Like, I remember when her songs I'm No Good, You Know That I'm No Good, and Rehab first came out on VH1, I think. It would play when I was getting ready for school in the mornings, and I didn't appreciate her fucking music. Like, I've been watching her her interviews and stuff, and she just seems so sweet. Just her story's so fucking sad. She was only 27. It's like 27, like when you're 15 or something, 27 sounds old and so far away, but I'm 30 now, you know? It's fucking weird. Like, she was so young. She deserves so much better. And there was a interview where she did an interview where she said she wanted a big family and she wanted like 6 kids, and she was like, I know that's a lot, but like that's what I want. Ugh, so freaking sad, dude. I'm just going back in with that Super Shock and building this back up. I feel like with this primer, it's hard to blend. It's like once you put the pigment there or the shadow, it just stays there. It's like not blending. I would like to say that I myself am a makeup creator or collector. I like to collect makeup, but lately just keeping up with all the launches, all the brands, like I think I'm like 3 weeks of no buying because it was a lot. It was stressing me out. I did see on TikTok that there are some people out there who actually like to collect vintage makeup from the 20s, and there's this one, I forget what her name is, but she's actually used like some of that makeup on her skin, and I'm like, girl, you're crazy. But it's just so cool to see like how intricate they made like little compacts, and especially with like the compact that were designed to be in like a purse or something. Those are crazy. I'm like, the fuck do I look like carrying a little purse like that for though now, you know? But it's cool to see like that kind of vintage, like way back when, you know? I'm gonna go into this one, the black. I'm like Grand Dam, like Dodge, just kind of like darken the outer corners. I'm gonna try one of these liners. I think this is black. I'm gonna try going in with this one. Hopefully this is not like tragic. I was always into makeup when I was in high school, but it was like mostly drugstore. I had no idea what Sephora was or anything like that. I didn't know that people did makeup for a living, which was naive on my part, but I didn't know that was a thing. I remember I used to be so into an Almay liner, kind of like this. When I was in high school, I would always wear a wing. You would not catch me without a wing. And for a while, I wasn't confident without my eyeliner, but now I just like walk around the majority of the time without makeup. That turned out nicely, actually. This formula is actually pretty good. So this dries down matte, which I like. I don't like a shiny wing. Just gonna clean up under the eye. So I did the liner. Do I look like Adele? No, I don't. I'm gonna go back into the brows. I'm gonna use an e.l.f. pomade. This is like the darkest one that they have. And I'm just going in slow motion, darkening up the brow. I made this so messy. I'm gonna have to go back in and clean that up. I like to make my brows dark because of how big my forehead is. And I'm gonna go in with face primer now. Actually, I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. And while that's setting, I'm gonna go in with the NARS Potted Concealer and Custard, and I'm gonna clean up the brows. Okay, so we dotted everything. And I'm going to be mixing the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer. When I use this by itself, I don't really like it because I feel like I feel cakey, you know? Even though I'm oily, I feel so cakey, but I love Candy Johnson and this foundation reminds me of her. So I'm gonna use some of this and I'm gonna mix it with the Uoma. They're at Walmart. This is a Flawless in Real Life Skin Perfecting Foundation. I'm gonna mix these two. So this has like an actual applicator. So I'm just gonna dot this. And clearly I'm not as light or as yellow as I thought I was. Which is why I'm mixing this one. Because I can't color match. And I'm going in with a beauty sponge. What am I doing? And just like that, dude. It looks like my skin looks like how it looked before I started this whole scratching thing. Like, I have so many scars and hyperpigmentation, and it's really impacted my self-esteem and makeup. Just like, that's why I love makeup. I'm gonna go in with the Tarte Shape Tape and feel here. I don't normally take foundation there because I don't really like to put foundation and then concealer on top. Even though I'm oily, my eyelids, like if I put a lot of product on them, you can tell that it's cakey and my under eyes will crack if I pack too much product on there. I just like to conceal and then go in with the loose powder and kind of set it. This is just what works best for me. I know I've been saying that I've been doing freelancing and I have like this huge jar here of clean beauty sponges. So when I do get clients or anything like that, I have all different types. I have the microfiber, I have silicone. I don't know what they're made of. But I have a little bit of everything. And when it comes to like smoothing out concealer and stuff, I like to use a beauty sponge instead of a brush because I feel like when I go by the eye, the actual eye, I feel like I'm gonna poke them with a brush. But I'm too scared to use a sponge because I feel like I'm doing this to their face. And I'm just, so I go in with the brush, but I'm just like, I have like odd creases as you go towards my lower lash line in the inner corner. My creases look weird, so I have to make sure that I really get that with the concealer. And then I go in with loose powder. I'm gonna try pressed powder today to see how it looks. I'm gonna go in with the number 7 Lift and Luminate Triple Action Finishing Powder. This is a medium. I saw on TikTok that this was a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury, I forget what powder it is, and I've used that product before. Charlotte Tilbury is kind of expensive, so that's why I haven't repurchased it, but if I could repurchase that powder, I would. It's so good, and this really does remind me of that. And when I'm editing, I usually feel weird about doing this to my eye. Now this is a little darker than the concealer. I don't know if we can fix this. Why did I do that? I'm gonna go in with a Real Technique buffing brush, and I'm going in with the Jeffree Star Cosmetic loose powder in Topaz. Oh my gosh, dude. What was I thinking? I'm just gonna start pushing this into the skin. And his powder is really, really fine, so be careful when you're breathing and putting this on your face. What was I thinking? I pushed that into the skin too. Maybe I can smoke the under eye or something. Kind of blend all of this. Because I'm not redoing all of this. I'm so mad that I did that. And I'm going to curl my lashes and go in with mascara. And this is a Colourpop Level Up Lengthening Mascara. I haven't used this. I'm testing Colourpop, so I might as well just... I'm so mad at myself. Why did I do that? I have 5 lashes and they're all straight. I can't curl them. They won't ever hold their curl even with waterproof mascara. So I like the Colourpop liner, but little bits and pieces of the formula clung to my lashes, so that's why I'm having a hard time putting mascara on. And this is exactly what that Almay one used to do. I don't know if it's because it's matte or what. I do see the length of this formula, but I need a volume because I only have 5 lashes. Look at my face. I don't know if you remember the Colourpop lashes that I showed you, and I didn't like them because they're not they're not big enough for me. I did a thick liner today, so I have to go in with some good lashes. So this is the Colourpop lashes, and I don't know if you can see that. So this is the Colourpop lashes in Flapper, and the bottom ones are Ioni Faux Mink Lashes in Wispy Dramatic. They kind of flare out as they go towards the outer eye, so you can kind of see how different these lashes are. So I'm gonna try these ones. I'll most likely use them, not today, because I want some big lashes to kind of distract from the mess I made down there. I hope this video is not a freaking disaster. I'm gonna put lash glue on there. I'm mad now. Oh, I'm scared. There we go. We're gonna smoke out the lower eye. I'm gonna go in with the Jaclyn Hill Divine Neutrals palette from Morphe, and these two palette kind of look alike, but not really, in case you were wondering. But I feel like some of the mattes down here are I really like how they blend out, and I think we can create something sultry on the lower eye to kind of distract from what I did. I'm just gonna go in with Good Vibes, which is the shade, and kind of blend this all on the bottom of the lower lash line. Oh my god, I poked my eye. One of the founders of Melt Cosmetics, Laura, I really like how she fucking smoked out her lower lash line. Like, I can't do that. I kind of took that color down. I'm gonna go in with Boo Bear, which is this shade. That looks pretty good, actually. I might have to go back in with concealer because my brows don't look the same. The side's thicker. When in doubt, cover it with concealer, girl. I do have this Jaclyn bronze and blushing duo. I think this is the darkest one they have. Cocoa Rich and Hot Lava. I really love how like luxe her packaging feels. I honestly feel like I can relate to Jaclyn a lot because she's as old as I am, but I didn't discover the beauty community that started with YouTube. I didn't discover any of that until like 2013, and by then she was already recording videos, posting them, and I still had no idea that people were doing that. I honestly don't even remember how I got into it. Like, it took me so long to make a YouTube account to like be able to comment and stuff on other people's YouTube. It took me a while to do that and to like save videos for like my watch later or all that stuff. You have to have an account to do all that, I think. I didn't know about any of that stuff until 2013. And 2013 to now, it took me that long to be able to have the balls to even upload videos, which was a while. I love her formula. Like, it blends. Usually I have a hard time with bronzer. I have a hard time placing it, blending it out, making it look like there's a shadow here, because you see how big my cheek is. Like, it's hard to do that, and there's only a few formulas that I can really do this with. I'm gonna use the same number 2 powder. I'm gonna go in with a Real Technique sponge brush in 200. I usually like going in with more compact, shorter, smaller brushes like this for pressed powders. And I'm just trying to avoid where I went with the bronzer, because I'm also using that as contour. What I'm seeing in my mirror is way different than what I'm seeing in this, so it's confusing me. I'm gonna go in with the Real Techniques brush and medium shadow brush. This is like way bigger than my eye shape, so I'm gonna go back in with that Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm gonna go into Booked, and I'm going to use it as a little contour. A lot of my favorite makeup artists like Harush, Nikki Tutorials. I recently got into Angel from Artist Couture, or Mac Daddy, and my best friend, she loves Louis Castro. I haven't gotten into his videos yet, but like a lot of the makeup artists, they like to go in with creams, and then I think the term is underpainting with creams, setting it, and then going in with creams again. I think I'm still trying to learn about that, like color theory and all that stuff. It's a lot harder than I thought it was. I have the hardest time color matching when I watch a lot of makeup artists, like not necessarily beauty influencers, but more more pro makeup artists that started that transition to YouTube. And I mean, I learned a lot from both, but mainly the professional ones. Like just watching how they color match to whoever they're doing makeup for. Like one day I will be that good. Like I'm still trying to learn, I guess, and be more confident and really show that I know what I'm doing, you know? I'm gonna go back in with that Jaclyn Cosmetics duo. I'm gonna go in with this brown, and I'm gonna use that to start shaping my nose. Contouring the nose also is not my strongest skill. I'm still learning how to contour my own nose. Like I never got into contouring or shaping my nose until I really started watching Carly Bible, Bailey Sarian. This is normally not part of my routine, but I'm gonna be in front of cameras and lighting, so I kind of want to contrast the brightness with shadows to see how that goes, you know? I learned this from watching Trixie Mattel and Katya. I don't know how to say Katya's last name, but they play with like the harshness of their makeup to being on stage with like different lightings, brighter lightings and all that stuff. So I'm gonna go in with Royal and Glanical contour brush in BMD 120, and I'm just gonna pick up some of this blush right here, and I'm just gonna brush a little bit of product on the bottom of my nose. And then I'm gonna go back in with, it's a Moda complexion brush in BMD 185. It's skinny, and I'm gonna go back in with the Jaclyn Hill Divine Neutrals with Morphe. I'm gonna go into block and just redefine. How you see me now is not gonna be how you see me on the other channel. So again, that's why I'm going back in. I'm accentuating certain parts of my face. I'm gonna go in with a Real Techniques brush in, oh, this is a deluxe crease brush in 300. This collection came with 2 loose powders, and I think I'm gonna go in with the lightest one. I don't usually fuck with loose highlighter, but this is in the groove. Blending it, pushing it into the skin. I'm going to go in to the Jaclyn Hill X Morphe and Divine Neutrals palette. Chic Happens, which is that really light matte. I think it has a little bit of shimmer. I personally like a matte brow bone, so that's my preference. I'm going to tightline with the Wet n Wild breakup proof, waterproof, retractable eyeliner in Blackest Black. I'm gonna warm up the product on the back of my hand. I'm also gonna do the upper waterline. I'm doing this because I don't want product to transfer from my lower lash line to that top line and get stuck there and then take product off of the lower lash line. You know, if that makes sense. I'm gonna go in with that black shade in the Roaring Hearts palette, and I'm just gonna take a little bit and smoke out the outer lower lash line. I think I'm gonna go in with the Colourpop Super Shock Shadow in Deco Days. I'm gonna stick that on the inner corner first. And I'm kind of exaggerating that color more than usual because I'm gonna be in harsh lighting. So after that, I'm gonna go into the Roaring Hearts palette and into Fancy That, which is this. And I'm gonna stick this in the inner corner, but not go as far as I did with that Super Shock Shadow. I think the last thing is to pick a lip lacquer. So I just had a little bit of cherry chapstick on my lips. I think we're gonna go in with the on the Ritz, which is more of like a pinky shade. And I'm not using lip liner. I think we're done. Again, I did harsh makeup today because it's gonna look really different on camera behind harsh lighting, because I'm recording an episode with my dad today on our podcast, which is why I did my makeup a little bit different, a little bit heavier than usual. But I like how everything came out. I love the Roaring Hearts eyeshadow palette. I do think that the eyeshadow primer from Colourpop had a little bit to do with why these shadows were sticking to my eyelid, but I was having difficulty blending it out. I will probably play with this again, but I will definitely use a different eyeshadow primer because I struggled, honestly. I felt like the eyeshadow was a disaster. What I did to my under eyes was a disaster, and I didn't want to continue. But it's a first impression, so you know, I like pretty much everything. These lip lacquers, I'm pretty sure they do feel really thick on my lips even after one coat. I'm not sure if I would wear this and then wear a face mask and go out and expect it not to transfer. It's gonna transfer. Not sure why they came out with 8 shades of the lip lacquers, because they all feel like this. Loose highlighter, you know, I'm really happy that it blended out as it did. I never go in with loose highlighter, but they are very easy to work with. I really like how they look. I really like the matte black eyeliner that we did, and I think to test another one, just for kicks, we'll test another eyeliner. We're gonna go in with the Had to Be You. This is like the brightest one out of all of them. So I just created a line on top where the crease shade meets the transition shade. I think we're good. That was the first impressions of the Colourpop Roaring Hearts collection. I really liked the formulas, but a lot of these colors, if you're into collecting makeup, I'm pretty sure that you already have them in your collection. So at this point, with all these makeup brands coming out and as fast as they are, it's getting exhausting to keep up with, and you already have these colors, you know? I'm talking myself out of it too, so don't you think that it is just as hard for me as it is for you. We are all in hard times right now, so don't do it. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye, pumpkins.